Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. Guys, so Errol Spence is voted or ranked the #1 welterweight in the world by Ring Magazine. Listen, I've been kind of reluctant to rank anybody #1, #2, #3 right now because I think there's too much to play for. I understand why Ring Magazine have ranked him #1. He's a unified champion of the world. He holds more than one belt, which no other welterweight holds right now. But the only problem is I don't think there's any distinct #1 right now. I don't think you can say Pacquiao's #1. I don't think you can say Crawford's #1. I don't think you can say Errol Spence is #1. All these three have to fight each other to get an undisputed champion. I think whoever comes out on top, whoever wins, is the #1. I think, Manny Pacquiao fans will say Manny Pacquiao's #1, but he only holds one belt. Errol Spence holds 2 belts. Crawford holds 1 belt, but Crawford has recently been an undisputed champion. So at the end of the day, we have to have these guys fight one another. Until they fight one another, there isn't a #1, there isn't a #2, because we don't know. We don't know. We don't know if Pacquiao beats Spence or Crawford. We don't know if Crawford beats Spence. We don't know if Spence beats Pacquiao or Crawford. So to put somebody #1, I think is very premature. Although I think obviously Ring Magazine have to rank someone. So the fact that Errol Spence has got 2 belts, they're going to rank him #1. But in my eyes, is he #1? I've said that I'm not going to rank anyone #1, #2, #3 until they fight each other, because I don't know. Because I think it's too close between them all. I feel Pacquiao on any given night can beat those guys, and I feel like Errol Spence and Crawford on their given night can beat Pacquiao. So, and I think Spence and Crawford on their night could beat one another. So I feel like they all need to fight each other for us to kind of come to a distinct, yeah, he's #1. I think until they actually get in the ring and fight, I don't think you can say anybody's #1 in the welterweight division. Yes, I understand that rankings have to be done and somebody has to be given the #1 mantle, and you have to say, well, this guy's #1. And I understand why they've put Errol Spence #1, because of the fact that he's a unified champion. He currently holds, out of the 4 belts, he holds 2 of them. So I clearly understand why they've ranked him #1, Ring Magazine. But do I think he's #1? I don't know. Until they fight, I'm not gonna call anybody #1, because you don't know. Because after watching Errol Spence v Sean Porter, what that showed me is that Errol Spence is not that far ahead of anybody, right? And that was a very close fight that could have gone either way. One round here or there, and we may have been talking about Sean Porter, who was the unified champ, not Errol Spence. So when it's that close, right? And Porter wasn't even seen as good as Thurman. Let's be real. Porter wasn't seen as good as Thurman. And he gave Spence that kind of tough fight. And people were expecting Spence to win by knockout and distinguish himself and separate himself from the other welterweights. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. So even more so now, I think that these guys need to fight each other for us to see who's the best. Because Spence didn't separate himself from any other welterweight in that fight. He actually showed that they're actually even closer than what we all thought, and I think it makes for interest. I think it makes for interesting fights. But I think for Ring Magazine to rank Errol Spence #1, I understand, because they have to give somebody the #1 status, and the fact that he holds 2 of the belts, of course he's going to have that #1. He's going to have that #1 ranking. However, I don't think anybody's #1 right now. I think it's all to play for. I think until they fight one another, we can't rank anybody #1. So you can have your opinion. You can say Pacquiao's #1, but you can't say that distinguishedly until Pacquiao beats Spence or Crawford. And the same with Crawford and Spence. Until they beat Pacquiao, they can't be ranked #1. Until they beat one another, they can't be ranked #1. So that's how I feel, because there's 3 champions right now. There's Spence, Crawford, and Pacquiao. And we're not talking about weak champions. There's no weak champion in there. You know what I mean? They're all capable of beating each other. So it's not like, normally you have, oh, well, I think Spence is. Some people may think Spence is. But the fact is, Crawford and Pacquiao are formidable champions. We're talking about, like, great fighters here. We're not talking about... So I think they're all evenly matched right now. The fact that they're evenly matched, Pacquiao's 41, so I still think he's evenly matched with those guys. Maybe, most people will think he's probably a little bit below them. But I still think on his given night, if Pacquiao performs, he can beat them. So as far as I'm concerned, if I think he can beat them, then I think I think that, you know, nobody's number one until they actually beat one another. So that's my take. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So a lot of you said to me that you know, you felt that Manny Pacquiao wouldn't win Fighter of the Year, etc. And I've always stayed consistent that if it goes to a voting system, he'll always win. And he won by a landslide. He didn't just win, he won by a landslide, 86% votes. One of you commented on on the video saying that you saw that Canelo was leading. Canelo was initially leading. That was like at the start when they put it up. He was initially ahead, but then after that, Manny Pacquiao just went well ahead. And he won by 86%. So 86% of the votes, and there was like 20,000 votes. 86% of the votes were for Manny Pacquiao. That's ridiculous. And like Canelo got like what, 5%, 6%, something like that, something really low. Pacquiao got majority of the votes. So you know, he's won it with the WBN. I don't think I'm not sure whether he'll win it with anybody else, because I'm not sure anybody else is a voting system. I think, you know, Yahoo gave it to Canelo, and there was others that gave it to Canelo. I think with WBN, I think wherever there's a voting system, he'll win, because his fan base is massive. A lot of you have said, well, you don't think that a lot of his fans, of course, listen, Manny Pacquiao has a huge fan base. Of course they're going to vote for him. They're going to, of course, he has a massive fan base. You know, even if there was Manny Pacquiao fans that didn't think he would deserve it, if he was on the list, they would vote for him. You know, so when you say, if you're a Manny Pacquiao fan and you're saying, well, I wouldn't have voted for him if I didn't think he deserved it. Yes, you would have. You know, because if I'm honest with you, listen, I thought Canelo probably deserved Fighter of the Year, but I would probably vote for Manny Pacquiao because I probably like him more than I like any other fighter. Even though I'm objective, like I'll kind of just say it how it is. In terms of my favorite fighter, it would definitely be Pacquiao of all of those that was on the list. So, of course, I would probably favor the guy that I like the most. And I'm not a die-hard fan like some of you are of Pacquiao. So I'm pretty certain that even if you don't think he deserved it, which it was, listen, it was kind of close between him and Canelo in the sense that, you know, Pacquiao did, I thought he had a very solid year. I thought Canelo edged it, but like I said, I'm not disappointed with that, with him getting the award. I'm shocked because I don't think he was that deserving where it should be 86%. You know, and this is why I'm trying to say that the reason why he was won by such a landslide is because he's got a massive fan base. Because I don't think anyone can say that it should have been that wide from 86%. You know, fair enough if you won by 53% to like 40% of Canelo, and I can understand then. But for it to be so wide just clearly shows that obviously a lot of those fans were just obviously Manny Pacquiao fans, and they thought, we'll vote for him. And that's, if you're being honest, that's the truth. You know, that's the truth, because, and if we do the Fighter of the Decade, he'll probably win that as well. And that's why they omitted him from the Fighter of the Decade, because I think they probably see that if we have him on the Fighter of the Decade, he'll win it. And WBN probably didn't think that he deserves to be Fighter of the Decade. That's my take on it, but I'm not sure. I can't be 100% why they've not have him on the list. Now, some of you have said that he was on the list, but WBN had an article which they released which clearly said they had omitted him from the list. So again, I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going on what I read from WBN. But yeah, you know, it's great for Pacquiao to win Fighter of the Year, and it's actually interesting. I don't know how many Fighter of the Years he won this decade, because surely if he won more Fighter of the Years than any other fighter this decade, then surely he deserves to win Fighter of the Decade, which I thought he legitimately deserved. I thought he was the Fighter of the Decade. I thought Canelo should have been Fighter of the Year, but I think Fighter of the Decade, I chose Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao for me was Fighter of the Decade. But They've admitted him. So a lot of you said is it done intentionally to soften the blow? I don't know. I don't think so, because these were listings that were done well in advance. So, you know, they didn't know that people were gonna. Oh, they did, because they know Pacquiao has a massive fan base. So they knew he was gonna get crazy votes. But yeah, it's great for Pacquiao that he's done it, and he won it by a landslide as well. It wasn't even close. 86%. What do you guys make of the news? Leave your thoughts. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. So guys, Errol Spence says that Keith Thurman is not a top 5 welterweight. What do I make of this? Errol Spence saying that Keith Thurman is not a top 5 welterweight. So in ranking them in no order, let's do Spence, Pacquiao, Crawford. They're three of the top 5. You would have to have Porter in there. And then it's between Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman. If those two fought right now, who do I think would win? I don't know. That'd be a good fight, because I don't think it's the Keith Thurman that we had before the injury. I think it's a different Keith Thurman. And we saw that in the Josecito Lopez fight, where he really struggled against a guy that you would say is Josecito. He'd be maybe fringe top 10. You know, he's not top 5, or he's not even top 7. I think there's a lot of guys that could beat Lopez. So I still think it doesn't matter whether you have Keith Thurman top 5, top 6, wherever you have Keith Thurman. I still think he could give the top guys a good fight, as he showed with Pacquiao. Because I would have Pacquiao top 3 for sure. So, in my opinion, we saw he gave Pacquiao a very tough fight. So he could give Spence and Crawford a very tough fight. So that doesn't mean that he can't beat some of the top guys. Is he top 5? I would go yes. I would go yes. I think Keith Thurman's top 5. I think he was a unified champ. He beat Danny Garcia. And I don't think Danny Garcia has done enough of late for me to put him in the top 5. I don't think he has. I think Keith Thurman showed in the Pacquiao fight that Pacquiao's a top 3 guy, and he put in a very tough fight. Sean Porter beat Danny Garcia, and Sean Porter put in a tough fight against what's his name, Spence, and some people thought he won it. So those guys are my top 5. I think Keith Thurman definitely deserves to be top 5 as far the way I look at it. Probably Spence has his grudge and he doesn't get on with Thurman. You know, we know they've had their beef for quite a while now, and they're not seeing eye to eye and all of that. We know that, you know, we know that Thurman's been ducking Spence. Let's not forget that Thurman's ducked Spence. I'll do a video about that. You know, Thurman's definitely, you know, got on the wrong side of Spence, and Spence is probably thinking, why is this guy top 5? What's he done? But I disagree. I think that he was a unified champ. His achievements in the welterweight division are good, and also his loss to Pacquiao was a great performance. It was a good performance. He came back and he did well, and it was although it was a split decision, really Pacquiao won that fight. It should have been unanimous. It was close. It wasn't one-sided, or it was quite a close fight. So unanimously close, but a close where Pacquiao was the deserved winner, and it should have been unanimous. It shouldn't have been split. But nevertheless, that's Errol Spence's opinion, and as I said on my channel before, we've got to respect people's opinions. But I disagree. I respectfully disagree with that opinion. I think Keith Thurman is a top 5 welterweight as far as I'm concerned. I don't think there's anyone else that you could say is better than. Listen, there might be guys in the top 7 that could beat Thurman. You know, Ugas is a top 5. Danny Garcia, as I mentioned. There's other guys that I think could give Keith Thurman in the welterweight division a good fight. But I think on performance and on achievements, you have to put him top 5. You cannot not put him top 5. That's the way I look at it. I think you have to put Keith Thurman top 5. That's just my opinion. I'm pretty sure there's going to be guys that disagree with it, that don't agree. But that's just my opinion. I think you have to put him top 5. But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So, Floyd Mayweather. Apparently, the last decade, or this decade, from 2010 to 2019, he made $915 million you know, throughout the decade. And remember, he only fought for what, probably 6 years, like if you include the McGregor and the Tenzin, so probably 6 years. So can you imagine how much more it would have been if he was more active, right? He would have been well over $1 billion. And there's a crazy stat that's come out that every punch Mayweather landed was equivalent to $500,000. £382,000. Every punch that Mayweather landed, he made £382,000, $500,000. That is like, that is just crazy. So guys, what is going on? I hope you guys are well. Manny Pacquiao calls out Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. This is big news. 8 hours ago, he tweeted to the world, and he atted at Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Now, these two are the other welterweight champions. And actually, I'm a bit confused with what's going on. Errol Spence and Terence Crawford have been going back and forth. And now Manny Pacquiao's kind of added fuel to the fire. Manny Pacquiao's been very quiet. We don't know what he's doing next. It seems very unclear to what's going on. Do I think Manny Pacquiao's going to fight Terence Crawford or Errol Spence next? I don't believe he will. I don't think that's the fight that is going to happen next. I don't know what's going on. I don't know, because for me, in my mind, I thought Manny Pacquiao's probably waiting around for a Floyd Mayweather fight. Is it a case where Floyd Mayweather's messing him around, so Manny Pacquiao's looking to go down another direction? I'm not entirely sure what's going on. It's really confusing right now. And it would seem strange for Manny Pacquiao to call out one of those two guys. It does seem strange, if I'm honest with you, because I don't think it makes sense for Manny to fight them next. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Terence Crawford replied back to Manny saying, "Whenever you're ready, sir, I'm ready for that fight." And I believe Terence Crawford is. Bob Arum would make that fight in a heartbeat, because they can't get any fights for Terence Crawford, and they know that would be a big pay-per-view fight. But the problem is, something don't seem right. You know, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on in the welterweight division. Seems a bit confusing right now. Seems really confusing right now. I think the fans want to see Manny Pacquiao fight Crawford or Spence, one of them. And I think he should fight one of them if he's going to jump into a tough fight. Because I don't believe I want to see him fight Porter, because I believe Porter is as tough a fight, but it doesn't mean anything. He's not a champion, Porter. It's not a big money fight, Porter. You know, I don't feel Manny's going to fight Porter. I reckon, and a lot of you guys will think you may not agree with this. I wouldn't be shocked if in May time, Amir Khan gets to fight with Manny Pacquiao in Saudi Arabia. And a lot of you people say, "Oh, well, you're mentioning Khan again." I genuinely do believe this, because I don't feel that Errol Spence is going to fight Manny straight away. Terence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, could it happen? Potentially. But it's a hard fight to make. It's not that easy. Would Al Heyman want Manny Pacquiao to fight Terence Crawford? Maybe if Manny's insistent. But let's not forget, these two were with the same promotional company and the fight couldn't be made. So what's to say the fight's going to be made now? So again, I'm a bit skeptical. But the fact that Manny's called him out, who knows? Who knows what could happen? But let's wait and see. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch. I think they're brilliant fights, of course. But I actually think that Manny Pacquiao wants the Floyd Mayweather fight. That's the fight that he's waiting around for. Let's be real. Let's be honest. That's the fight that Manny really wants. And to be honest, that's out of all of the fights, that's probably be the biggest money fight. It'd probably be the biggest fight in 2020, biggest fight in boxing still. And it's probably the fight that we would all love to see as well. And it'd probably be the fight that gets a lot of attention. Spence and Crawford will be big, but I don't think it gets the same kind of attention that the fight with the fight with Floyd. So I think Manny's probably gonna, see what Floyd is having to say. And actually, Floyd coming back, announcing that he's coming back in 2020, it would be crazy for Manny not to explore and not to wait, right? But then again, Manny Pacquiao and his team are talking. Is it a case where Manny Pacquiao's calling out Terence Crawford and Errol Spence to lure Floyd to come to the table? Because maybe Floyd is playing some games. Who knows? There could be a lot going on. There's a lot of games being played right now. And we don't know exactly what's going on. We don't know exactly what's going on. So we just got to wait and hope and see what fights will get made. But I do think 2020 is going to be a big year. Because Manny Pacquiao's not got long left. He's got max 2 years. Max 2 years. Some people think Manny could go on till 45 if he wants to. I think 2 years, probably. I think end of 2021, he may call it a day. I think he may have about 4 fights left. I do think so. Because after seeing him against Thurman, he probably has around 4 fights left. But it depends. One fight at his age could change everything. But that's my take. What do you guys think? Manny Pacquiao calls out Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Leave your thoughts. And guys, remember to please like, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Guys, what's going on? Guys, Floyd Money Mayweather, and I think the video that I'm going to do now is right. I call him Floyd Money Mayweather because in the last decade, you guys are going to be shocked at this stat. Floyd Mayweather made $500,000 for every punch he landed. So he made $915 million, right? And every punch he landed in the last decade, he made around $500,000. That is crazy amount of money. Crazy. For every punch he landed, just think about how mind-boggling that seems. For every punch he landed in a fight, he made about $500,000 on average dollars per punch landed in the last decade. That is ridiculous. Love him or hate him, this man is one of the best, or played the boxing game the best. He's a great fighter. He's a great businessman. The man, like, that's just a crazy stat. I don't think there's going to ever be another Floyd Mayweather in terms of making that kind of money. And I think some of you agreed with me as well that no one's going to be able to beat that. If you look at the current status of boxing, right? Who would you say are the biggest stars? Joshua Canelo? Them guys are not making anywhere near that kind of money. Canelo's making like 30, 40 million a fight. Mayweather, like, that would be a poor Mayweather. That would be, he made more against that fighting Berto. Like, Mayweather was making ridiculous amounts of money. Like, and now you would say the money's only increasing in sport. The social media, everything that's out there, it's making things a lot more, making it more of a money spinner, making things more lucrative. But there's no one coming close to Mayweather. Since Mayweather's gone, you can't really say. And even the guys that made a lot of money in boxing, like Pacquiao, who was the second highest guy in the decade, was because of the fact that he fought Floyd Mayweather. Obviously, he made a lot of money himself, Pacquiao, but the main crusp of that 450 million, I think 200 million was made from the Floyd fight. And you've got to realize Manny Pacquiao must have a lot of sponsorship as well, which recently probably got taken away because of the fact of the comments that Manny made. But he would have a lot of sponsorship like Nike and all of that. Whereas Floyd doesn't even... Floyd, that's all his earnings because Floyd don't have sponsorship. Floyd is the money team. He doesn't represent any other brand. He doesn't take sponsorship. So imagine if he was sponsored by brands, how much more money he would make as well. So Manny's sponsored by brands. That's why he wasn't just making revenue from boxing. He was making revenue from advertising and being a brand ambassador of this company, that company, So, like I said, I don't think Floyd Mayweather will ever be... There'll be another Floyd Mayweather in boxing from a financial point of view, the way the guys played the game, how good a businessman he is, and I don't even think he's going to be able to create one of them. I think, they're trying to make Gervonta Davis a massive star. I don't think Gervonta Davis is going to come anywhere close to Floyd Mayweather, and that's just being the truth. That's just speaking the truth. Gervonta Davis is a good fighter and stuff, but he's not going to go anywhere near Floyd. Like, that's ridiculous. That's never going to happen again. I don't see it, if I'm honest. That's just being honest. I think that stat, every punch Mayweather landed, he made around $500,000. That's not a joke. That's a lot of money. $500,000 for every punch you land. When you think about it that way, it seems mind-boggling. It just seems that's too much money. Too much money. If he lands 3 punches, right, 1.5 million, some people won't see that in their whole lifetime. He's made that by throwing 3 punches. I know it doesn't work like that because he didn't get paid like that, but it's just a stat that every punch he landed, he made around $500,000. So that again shows what Floyd Mayweather achieved from a financial point of view. It's not going to be rivaled. I don't see anybody coming and breaking that record. This guy was the highest paid athlete. He even beat Messi and Ronaldo. And footballers we know footballers is a worldwide sport and earn a bomb. This guy beat them. And those guys are sponsored athletes. They represent brands and all sorts. Mayweather doesn't do that. He represents his own brand. So that's all earnings of fights that he's made that money. That's crazy, man. It's ridiculous. you know, I don't think we're going to see the like again. But that's my opinion. Leave your thoughts. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.